Hi, I'm Hazel. It's almost Saturday today, and that makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I've been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week in WoW, a few players that had kept the Gift of Inzoth buff were reporting hearing whispers through their game client. Taliesin and Nevitel managed to capture that on a short video that they uploaded to their Twitter, which went something like this. As to what this means, I don't know. It could mean that the patch is going to be on Tuesday, although I strongly doubt that based on the fact that we have not yet seen a release candidate build on the PTR, and also 8.2's not ready yet. They're working on essences. If it comes out Tuesday, it'll be a mess. I listened to the whispering like 5 times over trying to figure out if I could hear anything, and I really got nothing, so your guess is as good as mine. Other news this week, on the 8.2 PTR, they are changing the mount size of Gnomes and Tauren. Historically, those two races have had the largest mounts, which makes sense for Tauren and makes less sense for Gnomes, although I always assumed it was just to make the Gnome look smaller. And my initial reaction was, how dare you? Because I've always kind of treasured having like a weirdly large mount as a very tiny gnome, but then I actually looked at the screenshots in the update post and was like, wow, yeah, that is better. So, kind of looking forward to that. Tauren characters probably more than others just because they may be able to fit through more doors. And if it says anything about the impact of this change, I've been running around on the PTR on my gnome for quite a while and did not notice, so it's not that bad. And that's more or less the gist of the week. There is more raid testing this afternoon, or probably earlier this afternoon. By the time you guys see this video will almost certainly be late. Really looking forward to getting to see the Queen Ashara raid fight. It is a little inconvenient for me that raid testing has been Fridays lately. I really preferred when it was Wednesdays and Thursdays, but the thing about testing is that it's not actually for me, it's for them to test the content, so like my own conveniences don't really factor into it. Just an abstract thought that I had that was unrelated to anything else that might be going on. In my personal life this week, my husband and I celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary this past weekend, and we did like really small gifts. I got him a coffee maker and then like a grinder because I thought that all coffee was sold as beans, and apparently most coffee that you buy is already ground. I don't really understand yet. And I am sort of dealing with like a very teeny tiny identity crisis now because I am very public and loud about my tea thing. I love tea. I have always been a tea person. I have been specifically not a coffee person. I will usually only get coffee if I can't get good tea. And now that I can make coffee at home, I've been doing that a little bit, just like 1 cup of coffee in the morning and then switching to tea throughout like the late morning and afternoon. And I'm not okay with liking coffee, but I think I might, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Life is very tough for me. Questions from this week. Patchwork Hero asks, with the new Deathwing mount coming out soon, would you be willing to put together a viewer live stream group to do the event, or is it something you're planning on doing by yourself? So I would like to highlight that the anniversary event involving the Deathwing mount that we talked about last week is going to be end of November 2019. So like after BlizzCon, 6 months away. It's not, I mean, it might be soon depending on your perception of time, but it's not like soon. Having said that, doing it on stream with a viewer group sounds like an excellent idea. Nilzors asks, so if you by any chance play BDO, how far did you get and what region and server are you on? So I quit BDO like a year-ish ago, maybe a little longer than that, not because I didn't like it, but because I didn't have time to keep playing it the way that I was playing it, and I proved to have no self-control. I don't remember what region or server I was on, but as far as how far I got, I was playing BDO exclusively with life skills. I would do just as much combat as I needed to get to like a nice city, and then I would just pretend that there was no combat in the game, even though combat's great in that game. But I already got that from WoW, so I wanted something different. So I would do life skills. I set up like shipping routes. I did like mount taming and horse breeding, that kind of thing. So I was exclusively a farmer in BDO and never hit level cap, because if I had hit level cap, I would have been PvP enabled, and I didn't want that. I didn't want anybody to like stomp through my turnip field. So that was my BDO life. Raven asks, first, I'm just curious about what part of Canada you're originally from. I'm from Vancouver Island myself. And second question, I know you're an Alliance main, but what is your favorite Horde race to play? So I lived around the southern half of Vancouver Island, like Victoria-ish. I moved around there a lot. And then as far as Horde races, undead for like the aesthetics and the animations, and then if I'm picking for like a PTR testing character, like just for racials, I've decided on Goblin because I got a taste of Goblin in the second half of Battle of Dazar and that rocket jump is so useful, although I do occasionally mispress it, like fat finger it, and I have dunked myself off of the bridge before Stormwall before. But aside from that, Goblin's great. B. Michael asks, do you ever have times when there is nothing to do that you want to do, but you still play, and what are some arbitrary and pointless things that you do in-game? So, I don't know if I've ever been at a lack of things to do in WoW. I've always had, like, a backlog, and I think this is true of just life in general. I've always had a big list of stuff that I'm really excited to do that I never, ever, ever get through. I'm very easily distracted. So I've never had nothing to do, but I do like going places just for the sake of going there. Specifically, if I am on my druid and I'm queuing arena, I like to take her out to like just somewhere weird and pretty and private to like sit in between queues. I find it helps soothe my rage. And then if I am working on a boss guide, I will take my character and park it somewhere really private so that I can just like log back in and check the dungeon journal really quick, like 97,000 times while I'm working on the guide. So I do get that urge totally. Nisbet asks, if you could have any WoW pet in real life that doesn't already exist in real life, which would you have? This was a hard one, and I think I have to go with a long-standing childhood fantasy that myself and anybody who read Aragon as a child has, and say I would like a tiny dragon. That doesn't exist in real life, because there was a lot of WoW pets that I thought of for this, and then I was like, oh no, wait, that's actually an animal. I could have that one day if I decided to take on that responsibility. So, baby dragons, not a real thing. Either a cloud serpent hatchling or more specifically the sun darter hatchling is just so delightful and pretty, and I feel like it would be a very smart pet. Like, it wouldn't be so much of a pet as like a friend, like a companion. Kind of like how I think of my cat. Like, my cat is my pet, but you know, we're on fairly even terms, you know? Sometimes she needs something, sometimes I need something, sometimes we just like chat. And that has been my week. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer on a vlog, please leave them in the comments of the most recent vlog. I'm gonna go. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.